We're still off here.
Go ahead, we're on. Zombie.
Okay, tell you we're up to right now. If I think we're up to this is a secondary light, a radiance of a radiance. So I'm putting my clock on. Okay, just hit the clocky. This is a secondary light, a radiance of a radiance, which is called an off-spring light. This footnote 8, this is to say that infinite light is not actually seen, only a secondary offspring light, that which is born of the first infinite light is seen. Nonetheless, as will be as will nonetheless as will be explained, the secondary light of the Kav is really bound to the essence of infinite light and comes from there. For this reason, the light of the Kav also has a certain likeness to the original infinite light which precedes the symptom. That's me. Now, Yuska, you're after me. When Yitzchak comes, he'll be after you, but for now, it's gonna be Benjamin after you, and then Isaac.
שאחר הצמצום, שאחר הצמצום, בוקע העיר דרך קו בעלמא, אבל הוא בא מערך העצמי, שברשימו הרי נכלל הכל, ממנו נמשך הקו. For although after the tzimtzum the light breaks through by way of a mere line, it nevertheless comes from your essential light, since everything is included within the Reshimu, and it is from the Reshimu that the curve line is drawn. I'm going to go for footnote 9. Okay. The concept of light breaking through a barrier masach will be explained later in the book. However, in general, it is analogous to one who writes down an intellectual concept on a piece of paper. There is absolutely no actual intellect on the paper, but only a bunch of squiggles of ink on paper. The actual light of the intellectual terms concealed, actual light of the intellectual remains concealed in the mind of the author. However, vested within the ink on the paper is a secondary light, which may be expanded again into actual intellectual light in the mind of the reader. Thank you.
Benjamin, it's your turn. You have to get off mute.
I don't think I've got a tape. What text am I reading? I don't get it.
What? Say it again, Benjamin?
Where is the text? I'm reading from. There's nothing sent to me today. Is that the one yesterday?
No, put it up now. Okay, I'm putting it on the WhatsApp now.
And what's it?
Yeah, get closer to your mic. Okay, I just posted on FiveAlive.
Okay.
You see it? It's the second paragraph. It's called the cow. See it, Benjamin?
The car. Okay. The car is an aspect of for all the influence of the chaining down of words and brings about the dimensions of up and down as stated in the Etzchaim. ומזה הטעם יובן תירוץ על בעניינים הפכים שנמצא בקו זה.
No.
First, this reason,
No, you need to go
we
to
may
footnote.
now understand the answers to two seemingly.
No, Benjamin.
Yeah?
You're reading the second paragraph. You need to go down to footnote 11.
I'm reading what, sorry?
You just did the paragraph the kav as an aspect, but you need to go down to footnote 11.
So I'm starting, okay, the car is an aspect of Hayuli for all the influence of the chaining down of words, and it brings about the dimension of up and down, as stated in the Etzchaim.
You did that correctly. Again, you need to go down on the bottom of the page.
Yeah?
Footnotes 10 and 11.
Do I read the footnote?
Yes, number 10 and 11.
The footnote, right?
Correct.
Okay, the concept of light breaking through is a barrier.
No, Benjamin. The one below, where it says number 10.
Okay. This is to say that the first extension of the curve, although it is not yet a particular line of revelation, previous chapter, it is Hayuli for all the revelation, for any recipient of the level. That is because of the fact that this curve comes from the essence of the infinite light, which is concealed within the Rishimu. See Zohar, beginning of the Parashat Korach.
Benjamin. Just footnote 11. You see here there's a small 11 on the bottom?
The 11?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay, so read that one and you're done.
Read the 11, right?
Yes.
See Zohar, beginning Parashat Korach.
That's 13. Two above that.
Sorry. See Etz Chaim, Drush Igulim, Vayosher Shar 1 Anaf 2. That is because of the fact that...
Thank you very much. זה הטעם יובן תירץ, hold on, let me just mute. ומזה הטעם יובן תירץ על בייז עניינים הפכים שנמצא בקו זה. This reason we may now understand the answer to two seemingly paradoxical opposites which are found in this Kav line. Footnote 12. That is, because of the fact that this Kav comes from the essence of the infinite light, which is concealed within the Rishimu.
Oh, you already did that. Okay. Last paragraph right over here. First aspect of the Kav is that it has the power to include the left and the right, etc. Footnote 13. See Zayar beginning of Parshas Korach. Yes, you start Hebrew.
Let me take 1 second. Ha'aleph. Wonders.
Am I after Yaska?
Yep, and then it's Benjamin.
Davka. Peace.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get off mute now and pick an English word in the paragraph. The first aspect. You see, it's third to the last paragraph.
Light, God.
I didn't hear the second one. The first word was right.
Sorry, it's really difficult to hear. Say it again.
You're choosing.
You said right, right?
You said right.
I said light.
There is no light on the paragraph.
What paragraph are you reading?
Third to the last paragraph on the page.
The last paragraph.
Third to the last.
It's actually the first aspect of the Kav, is the beginning of it.
Okay, the first from.
Yeah, but it's not where he's picking a word from.
Actually, can you show it on the screen because I can barely see. Oh, that's great. This one. Thank you.
Benjamin, you're very far from the mic.
Well, I'm actually very near. I don't know what's wrong with the iPad at the moment, but I can barely hear you, unless it's in my internet connection. Okay, so I'm reading one word from that paragraph, right?
Yes.
Power, strength.
Left. Out.
Kav. Instinct. Just get started.
I speak about the offspring. There is a group of comedians, Israelis, they call it Agashash Achiver. And these people they speak, and they became the most famous people who make jokes. And they just repeat what people say. They don't say anything new that people say. And they made everybody laugh. So the first time they were offered a job, So they said, the owner said, I want this amount of money, like $20,000 compared to Israel. So the place who promotes them, they said, hey, we take an orchestra for $15,000, and there's many musicians, 20 musicians, and you got 3 guys who take $20,000. We don't, it don't work for us. It doesn't make any sense. So I said, so the guy said, goodbye. This was happening, I just went ahead of the game. Then what's happened is in the beginning, they performed, and they said things. After the performance, the owner, his name is Pasha, he asked them like this, tell me, to the guys, how do you feel about this performance? They said 100 people were there, they were laughing, but I ask you, how do you guys felt about the performance? It's good, and I don't care what they say. What did you perform? He said, we really didn't perform good. So they went and they rehashed again the same thing, did it, and did it, and did it. And then the company, before said no, offered them, okay, we're going to give you $20,000, come to perform with us. Because they became very famous. So basically, what we speak is logic. We have a brain, we have a heart, we have off lights. We speak about things that everybody sees. We speak about ourselves. So what's...
Thank you, Yaska. It's time.
Yeah.
What?
It's my turn.
Oh, I gotta mute. I gotta mute Benjamin because I hear myself. Excellent, thank you. On Shabbos, I don't know if I told you guys, but I went to a Farbrengen with my class. It was a class reunion at Yosef Brickman's house. One of the guys took off his pants, his shirt, and he's a shliach somewhere, right? And he wasn't, people were like singing and speaking as he was, trying to get the floor, trying to get the attention. And when people weren't listening, or specifically the people that were singing or speaking to other people, he threw kugel at them. He even threw a bottle of wine at somebody, not hard. It was pretty close. He hit his thigh. I checked with the guy the next day and he was okay. But what was beautiful is that guy never got kicked out of the house. People understood. There was such achdus, there was such unity that I've never seen in my class. There was another shliach that was always like not respected, not celebrated, like not acknowledged in my class. And I was just watching how he was sharing things and stories. Guys were saying stories and experiences, and people were listening to the people that were never listened to before. It was so beautiful, I'm telling you. With all the throwing stuff and everything, the host, Yosef Brickman, I gotta say, didn't complain for a second. He said, don't worry, we'll take care of it. We'll clean. Don't worry, you don't need to clean. I was so inspired. I am so inspired by it. That's why I'm speaking about it now. Benjamin, go.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you. Nice to hear what Rabbi Levin just said about the gashash. I just found myself searching on the internet for some reason to laugh, and I thought, wow, they are so funny. And yes, they do use just repeat what we just say, and the idea is that laughter is within us. It's so important to laugh, and most importantly, not to take ourselves seriously. And a research was made that children tend to laugh 300 times a day. And if I ask you how many times do you think we laugh, adults, and that's actually a two-figure number, probably less than 16. And I think the rabbi always encouraged laughter and joy. So it looks like I've got another minute left. there's a wonderful story that I read that makes me laugh a lot, and I think it really explained that all. So I'm going to start and tell it, and then I'm going to continue in the next time that I'm going to speak. And it's just about a king that had a guest prime minister from a very powerful country, and he was invited, and he was sitting down to have this lovely meal with the king, and they were discussing very important business, and suddenly they were interrupted by a very angry, agitating. Okay, next, I'll continue. Next go. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Even though I said it already, again. Just thinking of this idea of, is there such a thing as fake laughter or superficial laughter, as well as crying? Because crying, I can understand that they're superficial, right? If it's not really crying, it's just tearing. Well, like, if I get like hit in the nose, like automatically my eyes tear up. So is there the same thing with laughter? A superficial laughter. And it seems that in Chassidus Mont Pnimius, which the best word that I found in the meantime is integrity. Chassidus demands integrity. So I'm trying to define or to see what is the difference between this fake laughter or real laughter, or a fake happiness and a real happiness, or a fake crying and a real crying. Because I can live robotically and laugh when I need to laugh and cry when I need to cry, according to a guide that I understand is the correct times to do that. But I feel that that's not real. It's not with integrity.
So, thank you very much for what you're saying, Isaac. I appreciate it because these words of wisdom. And, I appreciate when you said Rabbi Fink before. I still haven't, I guess, thought about it that much because, you're still, I guess, I spoke to Fel about it. When you finish like something like smicha or something you worked on, or anything you worked on very hard, and it was such a pain to try to get the test on all these things. Now you're like, you feel like, what do I do? What do I do? Who do I harass now? Who do I harass? Do I harass the rabbi? And so I'm still like in that mode. But I'm going out tonight, with my family and my whole family, most of my family tonight, to celebrate. And I'm also already thinking about, planning on maybe possibly coming to California, as I said, and doing maybe some sort of road trip with Fola and stuff, something like that. So, and also I drove the car when I was driving the car last night. I drove the car actually for the first time by myself alone. So that was a new experience. And I got I actually crammed in a lot of stuff pretty well. It's not bad. But what I would say about it, why it's a little bit different of an experience when you're driving with someone else, which I was doing the whole time, you have a second eye if you space it. I know you space out or something. You're driving yourself, you can't do that. And so, check now. Zombie Roxer just came now, so give him 2 minutes.
Put the clock a little in the middle, more to the middle, a drop, then I see it better. Thank you.
Zombie Roxin, you have the stage. Oh, you're off mute. Excellent.
Really? Good morning. Not sure what we're talking about right now, but I could assume something good. So I went to this graphologist once, and so he said to write. So I was writing a little sentence in English, didn't mean anything, and he asks me, "Do you have another language you write in?" So I said, "Yeah, Yiddish." So he says, "Write in Yiddish, please." So I wrote in Yiddish. He's like, "Okay, that's better. Now I see your personality." He said, "Before, when you were writing in English, you were thinking too much before you wrote." So I was thinking about this yesterday. This happened years ago. I was thinking about it yesterday, and I realized, that writing Yiddish, that was natural for me. That was the way I was brought up. That was me. That's how I came out. I wasn't thinking. I swear I trust myself. I just write, even though if it doesn't come out clear or anything. And I realized how important it is. Rebbe always says this. You have to trust yourself. You have to trust your body. And I realized the more I trust myself, the more correct I'm going to be. When your body is craving sugar or salt or something like that, you take it because it knows what it needs. Just like when a person, God forbid, gets sick, his body knows how to fight it. And if you don't trust yourself, then you're betraying yourself. Then you have a conflict. How can you trust anyone else? How can you give anyone else advice if you're not going to even trust it? You're not going to know. Like the body is an antenna, like I once heard.
It's not 30 seconds. I just, the way you see things, very interesting. I'm learning with people, and sometimes I learn with people, and I speak to them the deepest things, and the guy gets it. And I start to notice, when I sit with people, with a certain person, my conversation is completely to the person. He gives me the energies I can go into him and speak about something. So I'm shocked to see some people that I hear their name, and I see they, according to the name, they get so many things. Like they had somebody experience, they take years to explain to somebody. So I notice that all the time I speak to somebody, if somebody is clammed, everybody's going to feel over here. And I think people are trying to get out of this clamness, is to get out, to get to observe.
Thank you, Yaska. You mentioned last week or 2 weeks ago that you wanted to meet with me. I'd like to meet today. I'm occupied between 1 and 3, but I'm available between 11 and 1 and between 3 and 5. So if any of those times work for you, I'd love to meet with you. I love that Isaac and I love that you value integrity. I'm not mentioning why and where you take it from. It's a personal thing. I just love that you value integrity.
Benjamin, you need to get off mute.
Wow. Yeah, yes, that was good. Thank you for that. Um, Zalman Fink. Oh, I wanted to mention to Rabbi Shneur Zalman Fink. This idea that I started doing is to write down, like in very, very short, just like one word or something like that, that helps me remember what I want to say. And that way I actually could listen better, because I don't think about it and pay attention to it the whole time. I just write down one word, which takes me a second, and then I remember. So, have my time?
Then you don't have to think about it. That's I should do that, because what I'm doing is I'm like thinking, okay, what did Zombie Roxon say? What did Zombie Roxon say? What is that? And I'm not really paying attention. I am paying attention, but not with as much furious, or I don't even say, that clarity. But Zombie Roxon, you said some really good stuff, and I had to say that the reason why Yiddish was your personality is because we're early Terranics.
That's probably true. That's probably true. But I realized that when I trust myself first, I'll learn everything. So I could also talk to you in English and write to you in English. But first I had to do it through me and not through the way everybody else taught me, which, believe it or not, Rebecca also taught me this idea a long time ago. So it's been very interesting, because the more I've been learning on my own, the more I start understanding everything everybody says. But I need to understand it first in my brain, and then I can be able to give it over. Otherwise, it's like putting a circle into a square.
Yaska, I put the picture on Chavaya.
My turn. I'm so happy that Isfitzo Klivi is staying with us all the time.
I think you started the 30 seconds. You're reading now.
Okay.
The picture, like I said, is on the.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I didn't relate. Okay, I'm gonna read it now. Okay. I'm gonna put it up. I'm gonna have it in front of me now. Just a second. Wow. Yes, Chavaya. Thank you very much. Okay, my turn to read. Okay. Okay. Eventually, Isaac settled in Beersheba. The king of the Palestinians then asked Isaac to forge an alliance with him, acknowledging that Isaac was blessed with divine favor and success. The word of perseverance. ויאמרו, אוי ראינו כי היה השם עמך, ונאמר תהינו עולו בנשינו בינינו ובינך, ונכסו בריס עמך. Bereshis Chavov Chavches. The king of Palestine, Plishta, and his entourage said to Isaac, we have been that God has been with you. We had seen that God has been with you. So we said, let there now be a solemn oath between us, and let us make it covenant with you. Genesis 26:28. At first, the Palestinians seized the wells of that Isaac dug, but in the end, they actually thought him out, make peace with him. Similarly, even our most well-intentioned offers or spiritual labors can sometimes boomerang. Actually, strengthening force that opposes holiness. However, we learn from Isaac to do to not be discouraged in the face of such unexpected setbacks. Rather, we should contain our endeavors which are certain to eventually succeed. One second. Likutei Siches, Volume 1, pp. 29-31.
The reward of perseverance. Vayomer ra'oi ra'inu ki haya Hashem imach. V'naimer tehivna Allah b'neiseinu b'neinu v'necha v'nicher savris imach. Bereshis chavav chaf ches. The king of Philistia and his entourage said to Isaac, "We have seen that God has been with you." So we said, "Let there now be a solemn oath between us, and let us make a covenant with you." Genesis 26:28. At first, the Philistines seized the wells that Isaac dug, but in the end, they actively sought him out to make peace with him. Similarly, even our most well-intentioned efforts or spiritual labors can sometimes boomerang, actually strengthening the forces that oppose holiness. However, we learn from Isaac not to be discouraged in the face of such unexpected setbacks. Rather, we should continue our endeavors, which are certain to eventually succeed. Benjamin, it's your turn if you go off mute.
Eventually, Isaac settled in Beersheba. The king.
You're reading from the big words, the reward.
From the rewards?
The reward of perseverance. That's where you read from.
The reward of perseverance. ויאמרו, ראו ראינו, כי היה אדוני עמך, ונאמר תהי נא אלא בנותינו בינינו, ובניך, תהי נא אלא בנותינו בינינו ובניך, ונברתה ברית עמך, עמך. The king of Philistia and his entree said to Isaac, "We have been that God has been with you." So he said, "Let there now be solemn oath between us, and let us make a covenant with you." Genesis 26:28. At first, the Philistines seized the wells that Isaac dug. But in the end, they actively sought him out to make peace with him. Similarly, even our most well-intentioned efforts or spiritual labors can sometimes boomerang, actually strengthening the forces that oppose holiness. However, we learn from Isaac not to be discouraged in the face of such unexpected setbacks. Rather, we should continue our endeavors, which are certain to eventually succeed.
Reward of perseverance. ויאמר ראינו כי היה השם עמך ויאמר תהי Allah v'neseinu bineinu v'necha v'nichasa v'simach. Reishis Chabav Chavches. The king of Philistia and his entourage said to Isaac, "We have seen that God has been with you. So we said, let there now be a solemn oath between us, and let us make a covenant with you." Genesis 26:28. At first, the Philistines seized the wells that Isaac dug, but in the end they actively sought him out to make peace with him. Similarly, even our most well-intentioned efforts or spiritual labors can sometimes boomerang, actually strengthening the forces that oppose holiness. However, we learn from Isaac to not be discouraged in the face of such unexpected setbacks. Rather, we should continue our endeavors, which are certain to eventually succeed.
The reward of perseverance. Vayemru Rai Re'inu ki haya Hashem imacha v'neimar tihi na Allah v'neseinu b'neinu v'necha v'nechrasa v'ris imcha. Bereshis Chavav Chavches. The king of Philistia and his entourage said to Isaac, "We have seen that God has been with you." So we said, "Let there now be a solemn oath between us, and let us make a covenant with you." Genesis 26:28. At first the Philistines seized the wells of Isaac that Isaac dug, but in the end they actively sought him out to make peace with him. Similarly, even our most well-intentioned efforts or spiritual labors can sometimes boomerang, actually strengthening the forces that oppose holiness. However, we learn from Isaac to not be discouraged in the face of such unexpected setbacks. Rather, we should continue our endeavors which are certain to eventually succeed. Wow, that was powerful.
Rabbi, can you post it on the screen?
You need to pick a word, Azami.
I know. I just wonder if you post it, and I'll see the words.
I'm starting the words. No? Oh, Yuzami starts. Right.
Ra'inu. Powerful.
Ro'ei. Flashes.
Continue. Zalman. Benjamin, you're always right after me. And you translate in English right now.
From the English?
Always is today. Today. When I speak, get ready to unmute.
Sorry? Am I reading from the English or from the
You're picking a word from the English.
From the English. Thanks.
Anywhere after the word, the reward of perseverance, from there and below.
Severe.
I didn't hear. Did you choose a word?
Can you not hear me?
I can hear you now.
I'm just saying solemn, grave.
Thank you. Covenant. Unconditional.
Oh, so me, I was about to mute myself. It's good to see Zombie Roxanne. And what I will say is you said some really important things, or powerful things actually, because there's a question. Who do you fix? You fix someone else first, or do you fix yourself? And sometimes, yes, you have to go out and maybe help someone out before you help yourself out. But on a daily grind, so you could help out people that you want to help out, the best way you can do that is first work on yourself. It doesn't mean egotistically working on yourself and ignoring everyone else, but confidently working on you saying, let me get the piece of Gemara correctly how I understand it, so I can give it over, not word for word what someone else said. I have pretty good. I have a very good memory. I can give word for something what someone else said, but if I didn't get it, the person that I'm giving over to might not get it either because I have to, in a sense, confidently give it over to him, and he gets it that way much better than I give it word for word from someone else. And so you said something really powerful. And the other Terranic thing I was just joking with you about. But go ahead, Terra. What I was gonna say is I'm ready thinking about coming maybe sometime thinking about coming to California and coming to LA and then doing some road trip with Fala and coming to see you guys and stuff. And I'm hoping I can make it happen. And let's see what else I gotta say. I really happy that we have a decent sized group today. And God willing, we could go, get bigger and bigger. We want to come a monopoly.
Shut up, Zalman. I was just thinking about it because this technically is the 6th year that we've been studying FiveAlive with Rabbi. I remember we came somewhere along the line, there was this idea, we saw a book, and yet Rabbi had this idea that after 5 years of studying something, you'll be a professional. And I don't know, it seems like maybe it took a long time to understand what he was saying. But a lot of things that he said before, and then things start clicking. And then you totally get it. For instance, you have to see the whole story, the whole picture. And until this year, I heard what he said, but then also I started understanding. It clicked. Of course, you need to see the whole picture. Otherwise, how are you gonna know what would be next or what context or what are you talking about? It's interesting because learning Gemara teaches you this whole idea. I just started learning a bit of Gemara, and all of a sudden, you start asking questions. It's very simple questions. Rabbi Yisrael was once he said yesterday, he's like, if someone offered you $1 million to jump out of an airplane without a parachute, would you do it? So everyone's like, no, whatever, He's like, what's if I told, but you didn't ask if it was parked or if it was flying. If you ask the simple details, it changes everything. But sometimes we're not trained. We don't train ourselves to focus and just pay attention. The idea of what you gain and what you lose, it's tremendous because based on that, it knocks away probably 75% of all doubts. If you see what you have to gain, what you have to lose. Yeah, sometimes you're unsure, but it's all these basic ideas. The same idea. Torah teaches us all these amazing quotes. Think it will be good. Everything happens for the best. Divine providence. But if you don't learn and work, it'll never click in the head. You won't have the missing pieces to the puzzle.
I will go in something. I will share with you a confused story. what I heard from there in the class. From Tel Aviv to Eilat is the trip 5 hours. So the boss, a lady came in Be'er Sheva, the goes from Tel Aviv, Be'er Sheva, there's the Tzomet Arava, there's an intersection an hour later, 2 hours later. An old lady comes on the bus, very old, and she tells the bus driver, please, let me know when we reach Tzomet Arava, I mean the intersection of Arava. Okay, the bus driver drives, everybody's in the bus falls asleep, only the bus driver drives. Suddenly the boss sees he went an hour ahead already. He passed at Tzomet Arava an hour later. He stopped the plane, and the lady's sleeping. And he told the guys, what's happened? The lady told him she wanted to go to Tzomet Arava, the intersection before she wanted an hour. And you guys, if I go back, it's an hour there and an hour back. We lose 2 hours. What should we do? All of them talk, let's go, it's an old lady. If you could be also one time old, we want the people to tell us, you know. When somebody said, maybe you should go to Eilat, you should come back, so let's have mercy on her, let's go. And they went back all the way to Tzomet Arava. And they wake up the lady. And they said, lady, this is Tzomet Arava, the intersection. I said, thank you. She takes out from her wallet a pill, and she takes the pill. Because her plan is not to forget her pill. And they went back to Eilat. So, I don't know why God did it. But it's crazy. It's beautiful. So, this is the way things are going, guys. I don't know. So, what did I do? What all these guys did? What is this experience? It's fascinating. It's fascinating. This is a means of body. We did something in the world, something that's happening. Thank you.